The secret she never planned. Amara was born into poverty, but her soul was rich with dreams. Her family lived in the crumbling mud house at the edge of a small village, where the nights were quiet enough for her to whisper prayers to the stars. Her father, a palm wine tapper, walked himself weary, while her mother, Mama Ebere, sold vegetables at the market. They had little, sometimes nothing, but Amara was determined that her life would be different. She studied by the dim light of a kerosene lamp and prayed with hands trembling from hunger. God, she would whisper, make me a light in this darkness. She was beautiful, the kind of beauty that came with humility and grace. Men noticed her, but she had made a vow to God and to herself. She would keep her body and her heart pure until marriage. Her mother always reminded her, Amara, your purity is your gift. Keep it for your husband no matter what. And she promised. But promises are easy when life is kind. When Amara turned 19, her world fell apart. Mama Ebere became gravely ill. At first, they thought it was malaria, but the doctors said it was kidney failure. Treatment would cost far more than the family could afford. Her father sold his bicycle, their only means of transport. They borrowed, begged, and prayed, but the hospital demanded a deposit before continuing treatment. 50,000 naira, the nurse said flatly. Without it, we'll stop. Her father broke down in tears. Where will I find such money? He sobbed. Amara stood helpless, watching her mother gasp for breath. That night, she sat outside the hospital, staring at the sky. That was when Kenneth appeared, a familiar face from her secondary school days. He was handsome, well-dressed, confident, everything she used to admire from afar. Amara, he said in surprise, it's been years. What are you doing here? She tried to smile, but her lips trembled. My mother is sick. We can't pay for her treatment. Kenneth sighed and offered her a seat. How much do you need? When she told him, his expression changed. He studied her quietly, then said, I can help you, but you know how things work. Nothing comes for free. Amara froze. Her heart pounded. She understood what he meant. She begged him to reconsider, but he shook his head. You need money fast, and I have it. It's your choice. That night, she wept until her soul ached. She begged God to send help another way. None came. Her mother's condition worsened the next morning. Desperation drowned her conscience. She called Kenneth. She gave in. Afterwards, she felt broken beyond repair. She hated herself, hated the silence that followed, hated the way Kenneth smiled while she cried. But he gave her the money, and her mother's treatment continued. Within weeks, Mama Ebere recovered, never knowing the price her daughter had paid. Amara avoided Kenneth from that day. He tried to call her, visit her, even send gifts, but she rejected everything. She begged God for forgiveness every night, whispering through tears, Lord, I was weak. Please make me new again. Years passed. She moved to the city, studied hard, worked even harder, and buried her past beneath faith and purpose. She became active in her church, helping young girls understand purity, hope, and prayer. Deep down though, a quiet guilt still lived inside her. Then came Chima. He was gentle, soft-spoken, and kind, the kind of man who prayed before meals and spoke like a man raised by grace. He saw through her pain and loved her for her spirit, not her past. With him, she laughed again, dreamed again, lived again. After 2 years of friendship and faith, he proposed. Amara, you are the woman I prayed for. Will you marry me? Tears filled her eyes. Yes, Chima, I will. It felt like redemption. She thought her past was gone forever. Until one evening, Chima took her to meet his family. The door opened, and there stood Kenneth. Her world stopped. He stared at her as if he had seen a ghost. Chima smiled proudly. "This is my youngest brother, Kenneth." Amara's legs nearly gave way. Kenneth blinked speechless, his eyes filled with shock and something darker. He forced a smile, muttering, "Nice to meet you again, Amara." That night, she could barely breathe. The moment Chima dropped her off, she ran inside and collapsed in tears. "God, why him? Why now?" The next day, Kenneth texted her, "We need to talk." Her heart sank. She met him secretly at a cafe. He leaned across the table, smirking. "Small world, isn't it? My brother's fiancé." "Please," she whispered, "don't tell him. Kenneth, please, I beg you." He sipped his drink slowly. "You think I can just forget how you used me and disappeared? No, you owe me something, Amara." She shivered. "What do you want?" He smiled. "I just want what I've always wanted. You." Her eyes widened. "You are evil," she said through tears. "You want to destroy me." "I am not destroying you," he said coldly. "I'm just reminding you who you are." Amara left the cafe trembling. For weeks, Kenneth tormented her. He sent her messages at midnight, called her repeatedly, threatened to tell Chima everything if she didn't meet him. "Remember," one text read, "if I tell him the truth, he will never look at you again." She cried, prayed, fasted, and begged God for strength. She couldn't tell Chima. He was too innocent, too trusting. She feared losing him, feared the shame, the whispers, the judgment. One evening, Kenneth cornered her after choir rehearsal. "Last chance," he hissed. "Meet me tonight or your perfect life ends tomorrow." She fell on her knees before him. "Kenneth, please, have mercy. I was desperate that night. I did it to save my mother. Please don't destroy me." He hesitated. For a moment, guilt flickered in his eyes, but pride smothered it. "Then come to my hotel. I want what is mine." She stood, trembling. "You are evil, Kenneth," she said through tears. "You are not God. You cannot hold me captive forever." He laughed, then faced the truth. The next day, Kenneth came to their family meeting looking smug. Amara's heart raced as he asked to speak privately with his brother. She followed them to the sitting room, praying silently. "Chima," Kenneth began slowly, "there's something you should know about Amara." Her heart stopped, but before he could continue, tears streamed down her face. She fell on her knees. "No more hiding. If I must lose everything, I'll lose it with truth." Chima turned in confusion. "Amara, what is going on?" Through sobs, she told the whole story. The sickness, the desperation, the sin, the shame. She spoke trembling, her voice breaking with each word. "I didn't do it out of lust, Chima. I did it because my mother was dying. I have asked God for forgiveness every day since. I didn't know Kenneth was your brother, I swear." The room was silent. Kenneth stood frozen. Chima's face paled, and for a long time he said nothing. Then he looked at his brother with quiet anger. "You knew," he whispered. "You knew and you still torment her now?" Kenneth dropped his head, unable to speak. Chima knelt beside Amara, lifting her chin gently. "Look at me," he said softly. "You are not the same girl who made that mistake. You are the woman I fell in love with, strong, kind, and faithful. I forgive you, Amara. God already has." Amara broke down in tears. Kenneth turned away and walked out silently. That evening, Chima went to his brother's house. No one knows exactly what he said, but Kenneth never bothered Amara again. Months later, Kenneth left the city for good. The wedding took place in a small church surrounded by blooming flowers and laughter. When Amara walked down the aisle, she wasn't walking in shame. She was walking in grace. As she stood beside Chima, her heart whispered, "Thank you, Lord, for mercy stronger than my past." Kenneth didn't attend the wedding, but he sent a short note that read, "Amara, you are free. I was wrong. Live happily.
God truly restored you. Amara smiled through tears. Her story became a testimony, not of sin, but of redemption. Because sometimes, even when life forces a soul to bend, grace can still lift it high again. And Amara learned that God's forgiveness can silence even the loudest shame forever.